In this video, we're going to look at different versions of Java and a program called Netbeans. And before we actually go through the installation process, we're going to make sure we're installing the correct things. First of all, let's talk about the Java Development Kit. The Java Development Kit is the software that we install on our computer that allows us to write Java programs, to write them and compile them. And there are different versions of the JDK out there. There is Java Standard Edition. Okay, you can tell Standard Edition because it has the SE after it. So Java can be used to develop client-side standalone applications or applets. This is the version we're going to be using. We're just writing basic Java programs that run on our computer. But Java is also available as the Java Enterprise Edition. And we can tell Enterprise Edition because it ends with the EE on abbreviations. That's primarily used to develop server-side applications. So if we were going to run serverlets that run on Java on a server, Java server pages, Java server faces, probably more, it's a little bit more advanced than what we'll do in this course. But if you're writing something that runs at the server level across a business network, that's where you would use Java Enterprise Edition. There's also the Java Micro Edition. And that's what we use to develop applications for mobile devices such as cell phones. So we're going to be using Java Standard Edition. So that's important to know. And we're also going to be using an IDE or Integrated Development Environment that has a text editor, access to the compilers and debuggers and all the extra software that we need when we write Java programs built into one nice convenient place so that we don't have to have 15 different things installed. There are some popular ones out there. Netbeans and Eclipse are probably the two most popular. For a long time, Eclipse was hands down the editor that everybody wanted to use because it had all the latest and greatest features. That's not so much the case anymore. Netbeans has pretty much caught up and maybe passed it. So we will be using Netbeans. So let's go take a look for those. We're going to look for the Java Development Kit, and we're going to look for Netbeans Integrated Development Environment. So I'm going to go to google.com, and I'm just going to type in JDK, and we immediately come up to Oracle, who owns most of Java now. And the first link there is Java Downloads. So we'll click that. All right, and the other thing I'm going to go to, because I don't want to look at this yet. Let's go find Netbeans. So I open a new window, and I'm going to do a search for Netbeans. And we come up to Apache Netbeans. Okay, and that's what we're going to look at for our integrated development environment. Now, I want to look at it in this video. We're going to look at it to make sure we get the right versions. So let's start over here on Netbeans. Let's click the download button. And it says downloading Apache Netbeans, and here's the different installers. So I'm on Windows, so right here's the installer that I could get to install Apache Netbeans 18. But I want to look at some other things first. I almost wish they would put this section first, because this is very important down here, the deployment platforms. Apache Netbeans 18 binary releases require JDK 11 or higher, and they officially support running on JDK 11, 17, and 20. That's important to know. So if I'm going to be doing some Java programming, I want to make sure that I'm running the correct Java Development Kit. Now, at this current time that I'm making this video, if we go over to Java Downloads, Java 20 and Java 17 are available. Notice 18 and 19 aren't there. Okay, so we want to talk about that. We don't always want the latest and greatest version. A year ago, if I would have done this, I would have got a newer Java version, like 18 or 19, that was not supported. It was never supported. 17 was supported, and 20 is supported, and 11 was supported. So if I would have downloaded JDK 18 or 19 last year, I would have had problems. Netbeans wouldn't want to run on it correctly. Okay, so The other thing we want to look at is which platform do we want. So we have this JDK 20, but remember there's 17 and we don't see 18 and 19 anymore, right? 18 and 19 went away. They've been replaced by 20. They've been upgraded. They're no longer doing support for Java 18 and 19, or it's ending at some point. JDK 20 will receive updates until September 23, and then it's going to be which is just a few days from when I'm making this video, sometime in September. It's going to be superseded by JDK 21. But what I want you to notice here, JDK 17 has these letters after it, LTS, which means long-term support. So JDK 11 had long-term support. JDK 8 had long-term support. What that means is, even though JDK is going to be replaced by JDK 21, JDK 17 has long-term support. That means they're going to keep supporting it and updating it and doing bug fixes for a long time. So I don't necessarily want to run the latest and greatest. I am going to say let's get Java Development Kit 17 because it has long-term support. And if we go back to over here, we know that it is officially supported for running Netbeans. So it's important before you download software to make sure you understand how it interacts with each other, and make sure that you're going to, especially for new programmers, we don't need the latest and greatest version of JDK. Probably everything we will do in this course would run on JDK 8. Okay, so we'll stick with 17 for JDK. And we'll download the latest Apache Netbeans, which is Apache Netbeans 18. So I'm going to click the download for that, Apache Netbeans 18. I'm picking the Windows version because I'm on Windows. If you have a Mac, you can get the Mac version, or if you're on Linux, get the Linux version. And when I click that, it shows me some places where I can download it. We suggest this site, so I'll just go ahead and download it from that site. It's going to take a little bit to download. I'm also going to download the JDK, which we technically want to install first, but I'm going to make sure over here that I click JDK 17. And I'm going to come down and find, I also need to make sure I'm on Windows. They have Linux up here first, then Mac. Click on Windows. Here's the 64-bit installer for Windows. If you're on Windows 10, you probably have 64-bit. That's what you want. And I'm going to click that and start that downloading. In the next video, I will take you through the installation process for both of those, starting with the JDK that needs to be installed before Netbeans.